let's get into probably the most hated match on the card, if not just the hated man in all of WWE. We will have the phenomenal AJ Styles face off against the repulsive one, Logan Paul himself. Right, the story going into this one is not really much of a story, honestly. I mean, it seems like AJ Styles bounced from being in a possible match with Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship to being in a match with Logan Paul, right? That one was confusing, at least to me, right? So yeah, honestly, not much of a story going into this one, and honestly, haven't really been paying attention to the Logan Paul promos because, man, for how good Logan Paul is in the ring, his promos is probably the exact opposite. He still has to find himself on the microphone and who his character is. I feel like he just goes off the hate he gets online and from, just being a social media influencer and stuff like that. And he tries to bring it over to WWE and it just doesn't work. He just sounds like, a generic heel, that goes with the crowd, whatever city they're in and stuff like that. He gets very cheap heat and it's like very cheap, like 25 cents cheap, and it's bad. So the story for this match is not there at all. So let me just get straight into the predictions for this one. Um, Man, I feel like I know people are going to not like hearing me say this, but I feel like Logan Paul, you know, uh, not necessarily needs to win, but it would do more, if he does win this match. I know, a lot of people are not going to like hearing me say that, but AJ Styles wins this match. He gets a win at WrestleMania, but what does it mean for him coming out of it? AJ Styles hasn't really been being pushed as of late, as he did when he first came to WWE, and it really feels like he's been there for what, almost 10 years now. Crazy to say, right? He debuted at the 2016 Royal Rumble. So next year's Royal Rumble will mark his 10-year anniversary being in WWE, and he is also at the lateral years of his career. He just came back from an injury, a leg injury, and it feels like he's been put on the back burner. There's a lot of new wrestlers and returning wrestlers coming back to WWE, and he's been overshadowed, in my opinion. Logan Paul picking up a win, you know, it does more for him, being though he is an internet sensation and he is known around the world. Also, you can't deny his in-ring ability, right? He took to being a professional wrestler very quickly. And in my opinion, you like to see it. You like to see these guys who may not, grown up on wrestling or, pay their just dues, whatever that is, in wrestling, come to, like, these celebrities come into wrestling and actually put the work in, actually take it seriously and put on great in-ring action, right? So you got to give Logan Paul that. If you don't want to give him anything else, you got to give him that. And I feel like I said, AJ Styles is on his way out. Uh, I believe he put out something where he doesn't want to wrestle past 50, and that means like he got only a couple years left. And so yeah, I think he just do the job, put over Logan Paul um, on the big stage of WrestleMania in Las Vegas, nonetheless, right? So let's just get right into my star ratings, right? Anticipation, excitement going into this match, like I said, is not there at all. Haven't really been paying attention to the promos that these two been cutting because they haven't really been, captivating at all, right? So for that, I'm gonna give it 1 star. Now for the performance quality of the match that these two men could put on, for that I am going to give it 4 stars, right? I damn near want to give it 5 because Logan Paul, like I said, you gotta give him that. He's been putting on these great in-ring matches since he came over to WWE with big names. Roman Reigns, right? We've seen him at SummerSlam put on a great match with LA Knight, and you really get involved when he's in there, his Ricochet match, He's been putting on great matches. AJ Styles is a phenomenal one. So who else but to put on a great match with then no other than the legend himself, AJ Styles. Right? That's going to get 4 stars for me. Honestly, like I said, how strong the rivalry and story was going into this match, it hasn't. Honestly, it has not been great at all. And for that, I'm gonna just give it a 1 star as well. So to round it all up, I'm gonna give it 2 stars, right? Just because the in-ring match that these two can put on is going to savor something for this match, even though the story going into it and the promos and everything hasn't. The match is going to be like the sleeper of this night, right? I feel like they could possibly put on the match of the night, like in-ring match of the night. The only other match I could see as far as an in-ring standpoint is the Women's World Championship match or the Fatal 4 Way. But as far as one-on-one matches, the only competition they have is Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, which is not going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be a street fight. And then you have the main event. So yeah, honestly, I feel like this match could be match of the night, sleeper of the night for night two. Yeah, so with that being said, let me know your predictions for this match. Do you care at all? Who you think is going to win? This has been I Love Wrestling.